assuming that we're here, and I'm trying to get this dialed in so we can see it as I'm about to make changes, and that's the first end live, and I'm not seeing it. That's streaming 30 minutes ago, so is it not streaming? Begin streaming, GNU podcast number 2. How do I share it? Stream settings. Stream key. Oh, maybe I need to do this every time. Stop streaming. No, stop streaming. Is it live? That's the first question. It says that it's live. I'm gonna put this over here. That's my bandwidth. See how long it takes for you to. That's the first question. It says that it's live. I can barely hear that microphone. That's lame. That's my bandwidth. See how long it takes for you to. That's the first question. Where is the address from the stream? I can barely hear that microphone. That's lame. That's my bandwidth. Alright, so now I'm aware that that's the room microphone. This is the closed microphone. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, there's the share button. Copy the video link. Go here. This might make it better. Paste. Save. And I'm gonna close it. And close it. And minimize that. And my whole goal is to put this over here because I keep looking over there. You hear that microphone? That's lame. And oh, I'm not live. Maybe that's part of my problem. Kidding. Do we sound any better now? And again, that's bandwidth issues, I imagine. Oh, there's the share button. Copy the video link. Go here. This might make it better. Paste. Two of those. Save. Yeah. And I'm gonna close it. And close it. And minimize that. This way I can line them up. My whole goal is to put this over here because I keep looking over there. I'm assuming something's wrong with that microphone right now. So, oh, I'm not live. Maybe that's part of my problem. Kidding. Do we sound any better now? Adjustment. And again, I should be working issues, I imagine. Oh, there's the share button. Copy the video link. Go here. This might make it better. Paste. Two of those. Save. Yeah. And I'm gonna close it. And close it. And minimize that. This way I can line them up. My whole goal is to put. I wonder if that's gonna help if I'm not watching that. From what I see on my OBS, it's dropping half of every frame, which means it's sucking a lot of ass. Also, part of my intention is to try to modify this so it's a little bit more realistic, because I normally use this screen here, and on this computer I have this other camera. You can probably see it's smaller. But anyway, it's not easy to move that camera to be behind that monitor, and that's the monitor that I'm usually always looking at. And if I put this monitor, meaning this monitor, as the main one, I'm kind of pointing at it automatically. And then when I point at that one, I'll just point it up a little bit, and you'll be able to see that it's this one. I don't know if that makes any sense. If I look at here, does it look like I'm looking at? Yes, it does. Because in reality, those two monitors are, if I tilt it down a little bit, it's this monitor and that monitor. See? If I get this, and I get it go away, I look at my stats and I see all those drop frames, and I open my system monitor, I select that over and I open the resources. The challenge with all this is generally finding where the weak link is. It's kind of interesting that the similarities are in football. Now, as you can see down here, my network, and when I say down here, I'm looking at this microphone is on there because I'm not going to deal with that adjustments yet. But you can see that my bandwidth is all wiggly and it's in red. It's not good. My memory, no worries, no problems. I'm running fine at 4 gigabytes. When I look at the processes that are required, using the top amount of the CPU processing, OBS is using 17% of it. The Cinnamon, which is the desktop environment, essentially what you would call Windows, is running at about 4 megabytes or 5. No, it's over here. This one's 246 megabytes, and the operating system is 100 megabytes. I was dealing with 4,000 megabytes with Windows running at 4 gigabytes baseline. That tells me that none of the problems are coming from software, is my simplest term. The problem is coming probably from the router connection. And like I said, part of the reason why I sort of stopped doing all of this was because I was aware that the limitations require me an investment financially that I can't afford in the form of a dedicated high-speed internet connection. Long story short, Comcast screwed me over and tried to charge me 3 months for a service that I never used once. I asked them how much a phone would be. They said they'd set it up. I said I didn't want it. They didn't disconnect it for 3 months. They charged me for it, and I'm not going to pay them $100, so I can pay them another $20 a month just to have internet access that's reliable. Not currently. Back to the other normal screen, so because I'm learning that you see what I'm seeing, and that camera's still looking at those, so that's fine. You know what you're getting. You know what it is. So what a few are, and I guess I say this mostly as a kind of I don't even know where that is. I don't even know you, man. Sorry. Every once in a while, my brain has like this like Beastie Boys flashback or some other soundtrack that just jumps in my head. Yo, I don't hang out with those. What's up with your female? What's up with her? I hear she been giving that stuff out to all them graffiti guys. Yo, shut the fuck up, Chico, man. Yo, I don't hang out with those dudes. My friend Doug back in the day always used to quote that part. It says, if I knew it was going to be that kind of party, I'd stick my dick in a mashed potatoes. Oh, man, where's my poker thingy? One of the other benefits of life in the doobie lane, saves and lighters, well, sort of. I tend to forget stuff and then put it down and then remember and yada yada. I wonder what this would look like if I put this that thing in there, just because I can. Is it a window capture? I think it's a window capture. I'm gonna go okay, and I'm gonna go system resources, system monitor. Yeah, and I'm gonna put that up there where it is in my reality. He who documents best wins was the overall lesson. One of the important lessons I gained from my nonprofit days in San Francisco. Actually, nonprofit beginnings for sure. Well, no, not for sure. I had other interests similar to that, but now if and when I'm working in or contributing to that, and see now I can do this. I think. How can I do it? How low can you go? They can get that small. And what's cool is now I'll adjust this, make it bigger here, so it's out of my way and out of your way. But my point is, let me see if I click this. Okay, see now I should be looking like I'm looking straight ahead, even though the camera's right there. And that's the screen I'm going to be looking at next. That seems weird, but it's that screen. Got it. And the stuff is way over here. Over, you can't even, you can't even point that way. That way. All the way over there. On the other side of that screen is the system monitor resources dealy. And that's the same as this one. What's my point in all of this? Well, it seems to take both microphones to get a decent sound into the room. Also, I don't know that it's early or late, but I'm still drinking coffee, so the day's not over. And I've found personally it is it's way easier to do these test runs and get things dialed in, get things figured out, and to find the happy medium with everything. And the reason is because stuff always screws up, man. And it's like, oh yeah, I can't really do this and that and the other while using the Wi-Fi, especially in the daytime when other people might be using the Wi-Fi and the bandwidth is even more limited than usual. I'd probably be, from what I saw earlier, I almost wish I could mix this so I could make that signal louder. But just that one, if I click that one, that kills this microphone, but the camera still works. My little light went from green to red. If I go like that, this turns green, and that seems to, oh, now it's not green. Well, that's weird. Why didn't it do that? Huh. Maybe I gotta go to properties. Oh, right, because I switched to that. So now it's that microphone. That's still red, not green. I don't know. Might could be that when I switch to these that camera's not being used and it gets bored and turns off. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. It's just when I was watching the earlier this. Again, this is probably going to saturate the bandwidth. Let's look at this again. Kind of a jump. But I was essentially going to get back to the this. Because this is the first one that I did. Alright, that must mean that we are somewhat live. I'm looking at all my settings here. Check 1, 2, that seems to be working. This mic seems to be working. This live stream seems to be working. And I'm going to stick with that one because it looks like it's the proper one. And I'm not sure, but I think I'll just leave it at that. Alright, so here we are. And there I am. And there's about a 10-second delay. But up on that screen, that screen. I was gonna fast forward this, but for some reason I can't remember father. So he was in the Navy. Who they were after is acceptable, but the important parts are gathered: the voice, the speech, and something to look at in case you care. You know, for now anyway. The idea is that this will maintain some sort of consistency, although I expect it to evolve regularly. Now, as I say that, here's my point. As I'm looking at that screen, I'm looking at a face of a dude on a screen looking to my current left. That, as I can tell from the picture, is the primary wall or the computer screen. You can't tell because the other computer screen is turned off. You only see the little blinky lights or the things above it. That bothered me, so I had to do this so I could correct it, so that in the future the subject matter is on one side. As per types of things that I might consider doing these on as per subject matter, again, I apologize for the click. I can be more professional than that. In my own current defense, I have recently gotten new teeth, and anyone who gets a new, it's not new teeth per se, it's just a refitting of an old partial that they fixed a tooth, and so the old one didn't fit, so they had to refix it so it fit to the new tooth or the new crown. Anyway, it's going to take me some getting used to. Another reason why I'm doing these kind of silly videos for testing, in that I understand that the process is important, and it also helps me to get better at the process, because as I minimize that, this is kind of an interesting part I wasn't aware of, that still stays in full view. That's an exceptionally cool, I didn't know that, but that's cool. I'm just shrunk that up so it's up there better. And another thing I noticed is I need to do a better job of keeping things away from the edge, because YouTube and my monitors aren't necessarily copacetic in the way they line up with things. I'm not sure if that makes much sense, but if it's off the edge, I think it's easier to adjust. I mean, if it's the way it is now, it's better. I like those spaces to be equidistant as far as this screen to that screen, and in reality that's that screen and that's that screen, or to me that screen, because that screen is that screen, and what's up above me is actually down below that screen, but it's on the screen because when I click it, it goes right there. But I have it set up so it's always there, so it doesn't matter where I put it. Anyway, just part of the learning process that I get to enjoy, as well as the awareness if I were to open this up, it might stress out things. Yeah, I'm going to do it anyway. Let's test our bandwidth. Holy second. That would be considered unacceptable. It's usually around 3. I think 3 is what you need to get a decent stream. I think 5 is what you want, and 10 is ideal. Of course, that includes all the bandwidth. So if I'm using the internet, streaming to the internet, that's a bunch of channels and bandwidth, as well as trying to get stuff down and back up. Let's do that again, just in case it was a fluke. I've seen these things vary, and sometimes I've also seen, there's some things I'm aware I'm not real smart about, but I find something that works. And because I'm streaming, I'm choosing not to, I just realized you might not see what I'm doing there because I'm doing it on this screen and not that screen. Oopsies. But my point is, resetting the socket on the Wi-Fi works, and the easiest way to do that is to unplug the Wi-Fi USB and then plug it back in. And since I have two 3.0 USBs, I can use those for the internet connection, the Wi-Fi, and the camera connector, because those two things benefit from a higher speed connection. Things like a basic microphone can use regular USB, in my opinion. Again, it's really struggling, and if I reset that down there, essentially it disconnects and reconnects. I might be able to just do it that way. Problem is, streaming, that causes an interruption. Question is, can I click this off and then click it back on without screwing up the stream? Will it rehook? Okay, that's a reset. That seemed to open faster. Sucks that you have to wait for all of these ads to load before you get the test. Now you can see what I told you it's supposed to look like. And here I see tons, like my drop frame rate is now 22%. Disconnected, reconnecting. We'll quit that, just stay connected, shithead. Normally this time of year, we're about, come on, reconnect, quit being a jerk. Again, this is the type of frustration that comes with trying to podcast or produce content in order to help others. And help myself, gives me something to do. I'm trying to get my vocal cords in shape so I can get this quote-unquote book written. It was probably 2010, possibly, that I think the easiest way to put it is I was involved with this writers group. It was like a support group for people who were writers. And the idea is we would gather together once a week and use each other's energy as motivation to write. Kind of like a writer's club, but rarely do we necessarily share the things that we write. We just use that environment as a productive place to, work on our skills or crafts or what have you. And for the most part, it was predominantly journaling. I've written things in the forms of songs and poems and lyrics and even screenplay treatments and other movie or book or novel ideas. Again, being ADD, the attention span of a flea sometimes, I could be a little all over everywhere. But I don't always lose track of my place in working through a project. I just bounce from one to the other to the other. So if I have 3 that I'm trying to focus on, I might get one of them okay. The other 2 will suck, but without the other 2, the third one doesn't happen. It's kind of weird and strange like that. And now I paused earlier because I wanted the pokey thing, and I still don't remember where I put it. I am aware that I'm out of copy. So that must mean I should consider it to be at least afternoon, if not evening. I have to recall. Normally I divide my day up. I wake up, I do coffee, whatever. I don't eat until afternoon or evening. And then I might eat 2 meals a day, one as a lunch and one as a dinner. But when those things happen, I think I ate or started dinner this time yesterday. And my lunch today was my dinner from yesterday, so I don't have to worry about things going spoiled. But I also judge my day based upon how many coffees I've had. And by coffees, this Yeti mug is, I would say, a 20-ounce mug. That's one coffee. In my coffee pot, it's 6 cups, or more than 6, almost 8 cups of coffee. So, after 2 or 16 cups of coffee, depending on how your math functions, that's generally when I start thinking about lunch. Depending on what distracts me between waking up and giving in to munchies or desires for food, depends on how long my morning and or afternoon is. Once I give in to the munchies, I usually sag in productivity. And part of my attempt is to adjust that, because right now, real world 2:02:22, not kidding you, a.m. in the morning. That was an interesting repeat, only because I remember resetting my clock earlier and it was 11:11, I think, or was it 1:11? No, it was 11:11. I found it. And there's the disconnected, reconnecting. There's the reconnected. Again, you wonder, why are you doing this stupid, nonsensical something that no one's watching? Well, that's why. Because in the middle of the flippin' night, there's still problems with Wi-Fi. There are 3 other apartments on my floor. They're all occupied. One has usually 2 people. The girl that lives there and whoever her boyfriend is that week or that part of the week. It changed so much. It's been 4 years. It's been more than 100. I could never keep count or track. I just noticed that they always keep changing, so I quit paying attention. Point is, we're on the 3rd floor, so below us are 1, 2, 3, 4 people. One of those 4 people is the laundry room, so that's not a person. And then on the 1st floor, I think there's 3 apartments. I'm not 100% sure, but at least those people probably all use this Wi-Fi. However, for my awareness, there's one repeater Wi-Fi in every hallway. So maximum 4 people would use it. Earlier this morning, 15 and 20 megabits a second. It was like high-speed connection worthy. And the other reality is, no matter what's going on, if I do this in a Linux environment or I do it in a Windows environment, it's always faster on Linux, because there's less snooping going on my computer from Windows, because there is no Windows, there's just the operating system. This again is about standard or functional. I should be pointing up there. But I haven't been looking at this. This is crazy high on the CPU usage. Mostly from OBS and Firefox. I'm aware and I see stuff that's unnecessary and probably should or could be deleted or removed. But again, that's why I do these, so I can go through this process. And it's, now you can see my network got better. See that? See how wobbly and screwed up it was here? Nothing has changed except something. And that something, I don't think was me. Unless it's this. Let's hit that. That's what it is. It's the speed tester thingy. Again, I need to dial in, find a better one. I can't explain it other than it seems to be my fate at times. That, like speed test used to be the go-to nerd center, now it's the go-to ad center, and all the ads slow down the process. And it only wants to connect servers that connect to things like Comcast. You can change it, but what it wants you to do is what it's designed to do, and that's all based around making money, which sucks. Let's do a free, no ad, SP test, free no ad speed test. Usually the top ones are not good. Speed by Kala is an app. They're going to have ads in it. Those ads will slow it down. They will throttle your speeds on opposing networks that they don't want you to use. Tom's, I think, would be a good one. Meteor. This one because it looks nerdy. Is that logical thinking? This looks nerdy. Oh, it's an app. It's not a. No, you don't need to know where I'm at. Oh, it just wasn't loaded yet. Now look at that. You get a big peak. But what I like is there's no ads and stuff. I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to put it, in the toolbar. That's way better than that other one. All in the name of science and documentation. Isn't that lovely? So, as I work towards this, I realize a few things. I need to do something with that space. Only for the viewers' appreciation or something. I am aware I could do this. Where's that? There it is. I could do that and then use OBS to remove all of that or put something else back there like clouds and shit. But again, that takes up more processing, and as we're aware, I'm limited on that. Restart. Why does it keep going in circles? Can we zoom out so I can see more of you? There, it's better. Yeah, I want to save that. And I want to go here. And where's this? I'm going to edit this. I'm going to go here. Sorry about your luck, speed test. You lose. Now I'll allow you because you are now my permanent tester. I like how my room matches the color on that screen. I'm also where my levels are still low. If I gack this 10, I don't like doing that, but I can do it. That enables me to be a little bit more lazy. I think we'll see. I'll have to review it all. Start the test. Yeah, see, that's more like it was earlier. So my entire wireless connection is jacked or ganked or whatever you want to call it. Put this over here, and you can't not, soups. You can't not see how jacked it is. Why is that? Oh, now we're super big. Oh, because I zonked it down, that's why. And cool, at this point we're at 10-12%. Granted, we just started dropping frames, but I think part of that is dialing in the stream settings here. I think output from simple to complex with other details might help tune. Audio is basic, but that's supposed to be this, and then auxiliary is supposed to be that. Desktop audio 2 is default. So let's apply that and see what we get. So now we have a different desktop audio. Let's remove that. Let's just hide it. Mic aux, hush. That should be just this mic and this mic only, and that should be the USB. Yes. Okay. Mic aux mic. That should be the mic up there. It is not. It should be that one. Okay. Now, that's the mic on the top of the deal. Mic aux 2 settings. That's again the Q4N. Cancel. Go back to this and see if they changed that to okay. So that didn't get changed. Alright, good enough. And this mic is at 10 as far as I can tell. I'm not going to add, I guess I could add a preamp filter and see what it did. Why not? I mean, I'm here. Gain. Okie doke. And my gain is 2 decibels. Check and a check and a check. Check and a check and a check. Yeah, that's way too much there. I don't want to dig that much. Did I even apply it? Oh, that actually reduces it. Okay. Check and a check and a check. 1, 2. Wow, that just clipped hard. Sorry, dudes. I'm gonna go to the I'm trashing it. So I'm aware I'd rather deal with low volumes and you guys having to crank up your headphones or whatever than putting too hard of a signal out there currently. And what was our results? 1 and 1. That was lame. We're at 11% right now, and as you can see, we're getting peaks of 10 with an average of close to 5. Sometimes I wonder if it's neighbors like using and sharing the bandwidth. Other times I think it's the computer nerds that are running the network and all of that for the county, utilizing or throttling this so they can put that bandwidth in other places. Not that before I dropped out I was a computer network administrator or anything, but I might have an awareness that those things are possible. And if I was doing an AS, whatever those asshole videos are, this little crinkly rolling thing would be a good. With this mic and this setup, the way it's currently rigged, that's not really an option. I'm shutting that down. Let's just let this stream and see where we're at. We're at 42 minutes, so this will be the second hour. And if I did things correctly, this should be streaming to my personal webpage, clemhawkinscomedy.com, which is in reality hosted by WordPress. But since all my links go to WordPress, I keep it that way. But as far as I understand, everything I've advertised anyway has just the www.clemhawkinscomedy.com, and it should take you there if you. So let's go look. Zoink. And that's the thing I like about this part is because I'm doing the whole screen, I don't have to go into OSB and change what the thing is. What was I looking for? Might have been my channel. That's me right now. That was me earlier. Oh, this is back when I was doing those things. Here's some of my a year ago. 4 and 5 years ago makes more sense. I guess the oldest thing is 5 years ago, and this mountain drive and update looks as if it's in the old Jeep. And it says 2018, and there's Elvis, and this is Elvis, so this is up in Netherlands or in the mountains. These are down in Denver area. But like I say, this 13 subscribers, 177 videos, and I don't even know what or where they all are. I think most of them are turned off. 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now look, let's check out how to podcast. No public limitations. 1 point. Alrighty then. So we have recording happening. That's boring. And it sounds like crap. And probably because that was me using one of a collection of phones. The jack in the box that I used to snag Wi-Fi from at night, next to the Walmart behind it had a phone center, and 1 month one of those closed. It was like a Verizon or something, so they threw all of the samples and blank phones and other crap away. I probably got like 10 or 12 different working phones with cameras and microphones and Wi-Fi and all that. So it was at that point I decided I should figure out how to make a little tripod so you could connect all 3 of those and stream those like as a group. Meaning you'd have 3 different cameras pointing, like everybody brings their phone and just sets it in this thing. That thing then angles the phones looking at the camera angles to make sure that you get something similar to what you have here with 3 even screens, 4 even screens. I guess the other part of it is I've kind of enjoyed, and I guess when I say that I already have to catch my words because there's a lot of problems with it. But the most recent AI that I've dabbled with is called Gemini. As far as I'm aware, it's the Google head honcho of free accessible AI modeling. It's mostly text. It will create images. It never listens to you. It never takes your, like, if I say this picture and this picture, put this one in front of this one, but make it smaller so it fits, it'll create new versions of both of those things. It doesn't work. It's way quicker to just open GIMP up and do it. And it was in that process of opening GIMP up and doing it that I realized that I wasn't in my normal operating system of Linux, that I was in Windows, and I had just installed, I think, and at that time, Audacity or GIMP, I can't remember which it was, but I just installed. I was like, oh wait, what am I doing in this OS? The only reason I use Windows anymore really is because Steam games in particular will only run on Steam with Windows. Recently, even Grand Theft Auto, which used to run using emulators and such, actually changed their code to include a cheat engine blocker called Battle Eye that actually causes the Steam Deck as well as all Linux users to lose functionality. So anybody that paid 50 or 60 bucks recently for a video game and can't play it anymore, all because they're trying to keep people from cheating, is silly. When other games like Skyrim or Fallout or that same company's new space game, Cyberpunk, almost every modern video game in the game comes with a cheat engine built in called the console. And that console allows you to dial the experience in as you want. A perfect example is Skyrim. The whole game starts with you in a cart. You get to the end to find out that the Imperial forces have captured you along with a bunch of rebel forces, and they're going to execute you. You're saved by a dragon, but you define who you are, what race you are, all of that. That's the character generation screen. When you start the game, by default, you start at level 0 or level 1, no experience, no nothing. However, if you're a 30 or 40 or 50 or whoever, 200, and maybe you're some Merlin wizard, and because it's like a Dungeons and Dragons, right? It's dragons and shit, so Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards, archers, rangers, thieves, conjurers, different kinds of magic users, all that stuff. My point being is that if the character you want to experience playing happens to be a high level character at the beginning of the game, the only way to do that is with using the console to then use the commands that would have been used by developers to test the system, but you plug in the statistics of the player you want in the exact same way you would fill out a character sheet for a Dungeons and Dragons game. And then you go from there with the game allowing you to earn whatever justifiable experience points are based upon your level. The thing is, when you play at a level 1, all of your opponents are level 1. Everything is scaled to the level of the character. If you start the game at level 50, the dragons, the creatures, everything is going to be a higher level. And more importantly, all of the items that you find or are rewarded for winning a combat are equally better. More experience points, higher powers, abilities, ratings, etc. The point being is you could go through the game at a low level to earn your way up to 50, gathering all the garbage, and then when you get to 50, you would give away all the garbage. Or you could use a console, give yourself all the good stuff, and then enjoy the game as it would be played by like the hero of heroes, because most games are designed so they would still be challenging, because the challenge is not based on the gameplay itself as much as it is the character. So if you started as a level 1 and within 10 minutes you were a level 50, the game wouldn't know any different and wouldn't care. All it does is read the data that is your character's representation. You use consoles to change that, so be it. With Grand Theft Auto, when Kyle Perico came out, it was the first heist that you could do repeatedly and farm money, and the math was kind of simple. The submarine cost 2.2 million, I think, and the helicopter Sparrow cost 1.8. So, other than without any other upgrades, it was a $4 million buy-in. However, in one heist, which took about an hour with all setups, you could earn over $1 million. That meant if you did 4, it paid for itself. After that, each time was a little bit over $1 million usually. When a car costs 3 to 5 million at first, that means you got to spend 4 hours, and that's on the easiest, the most profitable investment of energy, because it pays out the most. If you invest in buying all these other things, they all end up costing you money, and it makes absolutely no sense. If you contemplate the cost that it takes to have drugs to sell to street dealers, and then you do the math of what the street dealers pay you, they almost always pay you less than what that costs to make. Making all the investments in the MC clubs, all the investments in the weed and other factories that produce the substances, the nightclub, the everything, the upgrades. We're talking 20, 30, 40 million dollars all invested so you can lose half your investment. And that's, to understand the math, you have to understand that's not including what it costs to make it, as far as to get those things. All that means is the expense that it costs for the materials to craft the drugs cost more than the drugs sell to anybody, with the exception of possibly through the nightclub. Therefore, all you have to do is fill all of those to the brim and then let the nightclub milk the percentages and never worry about anything else. That's still tens to 20 of millions of dollars of investment for a business that barely covers its own expenses. It makes no sense, but it's part of what had changed in the game. Primary reason I have these 4 computers and plus a 5th laptop and a 6th, my old original laptop before I even moved here. And at the end of this, I'm going to open some doors because I'm warm. It means you get the hum of the air conditioner outside, I suppose. And maybe even more so with that on. And I'm not sure it's possible I could do this recording with the window open and not be heard, but I'm also pretty sure that right about now, sprinklers will start going on. It'll start spraying, so that hiss will be in the background. And as I look down at the clock, this is coming up on the end of the 2nd hour. So that's 2 hours of podcasting, exercising the voice, as well as the maybe hour or hopefully not more than an hour, talking with Junior. So that's 3. And I might have talked to the Gemini that does take voice and turn it into speech, which makes it easier. I'll probably do one of those just for fun. But yeah, I like keeping things round about the same, and we're coming up with 3 minutes on the second hour, which again I assume is on my webpage. But I started to review the previous one, and I was like, this gotta change, that's gotta change. And as I look on what I see is I guess we'll call it the production screen, which should be the screen on the live channel. If I go to view the live channel, I can probably see that. Should be the screen on the live channel. Yeah. Go to view the live channel. Now you're going to be able to hear that echo. Should be the screen on the live channel. Yeah. Go to view the live channel. Now you're going to be able to hear that echo. So I muted it, and it's still up there. And I'm going to put hi. Oops. Hi. Why did it zoom in? Are you? So we're going to call this the end of test number 2, hour number 2. And somehow, some way, I don't know what changed, but we're finally down to a dropped frame rate of 5.8%, which I think is acceptable enough to comfortably work towards a podcasting project or 3. The main point is to get things in a set it and forget it situation. And I think I just did those opposite. I'm pretty sure I did. It's yellow. With the green light, it's hard to tell what's yellow and what's white. Let's go to all the white. It's weird that it looks kind of pink on the monitor, but in my eyes, I can see the pink, but I see mostly white. But yeah, signing off episode number 2. We'll get things better dialed in. At least my line of sight is corrected. The bandwidth and the drop frames is still in green and seemingly acceptable. My levels are low but functional. Without the room monitor mic and just the front in front of me, that seems to be working. Again, I haven't listened to it, and I'm aware it's going to be low, but it is what it is when we can get what it is. But the goal will be next time I can start from here and carry on into a future reality. The nice part is each one of these can represent each one of these screens, and I can zoink this to be little like the way most people do their podcastings and stuff. So anyway, for the new podcast test run number 2, adjustments being made, well, they got made, and we documented, I think, how we made them. And even though that's a little not where I want it, that's at 35, 34. There, it at least lines up. But this will work for now. And the good part is this setup should allow me to do anything covering Audacity, covering recording, covering streaming or podcasting. Most of my specialty is normally audio. I like to nerd around with those things. My second thing might be Photoshop, GIMP, image editing. Used to be it's just what I used to do when I was bored. And, some people played Mario, I played Photoshop. But now I use the free version that's with as many ad-free options and less Big Brother peeking in, taking up half my bandwidth just to spy on me. That's been my Windows experience, and This at least documents the feasibility and ease in which old machines can run functional and even modern day programming to an acceptable rate. Currently running 4 different programs, right? OBS, Firefox, the system monitor, and the readout or whatever, all with 5% dropped frames. Acceptable. Peace. Outro music played Chicky Chicky Bow Wow.